Good morning. Welcome to TMI edition of the Children's Day. I am Orobo Samirako. We are going to be talking about equal children's rights. I'm not here alone. I have
Isadora Naomi from Higher Wisdom Academy.
Eweka Sarugwe from Imaguero College.
And also we have our barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo. So we are going to be talking about equal children's rights. So my first question, what is fundamental children's rights?
Well, the Child Rights Act of 2003 provides for what is called the right of a child. So by implication, the rights of children, just as you are here just now. Every child has a right or rights, as the case may be. That act provides for 14 rights of a child. 14. 1. Right to survival and development. It means that every child rather, and all children have right to survive and right to develop, to grow, to become adults just as their parents. Like the Englishman says, the child is the father of the man. It simply means with time, the child also becomes a father, the child also becomes a mother, the child also becomes an adult. Now, the rights of a child also right to compulsory primary education. Primary education, compulsory. It's a right for all children in this country. We have right to association, not right to join cults, no. Not right to keep bad friends, bad companies, no. But right to association, to become an association, to belong to an association. That child has a right. Like in some schools, they have the Red Cross, is an association. They have other, the Masha Association. They have so many of them. So every child has a right to belong to whatever association the child chooses to belong. There's also the right to freedom of religion. A child can say, I want to belong to so and so and so, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, religion. The child has that right. A parent or parents cannot coerce or force a child to belong to a religion. That child can choose whatever religion he or she chooses to belong. We have, like I did say from the outset of our discussion this morning, I said that that law encapsulates, that law enshrines, that law provides for 14 rights of a child. And also, there's another law called, which is the Child Rights Protection Act of 2015. When you marry that law with that of the Child Rights Act 2003, you will now see the rights of a child or the rights of children. We'll go on and on and on and on to begin to state explicitly the rights of a child. So as we are seated here, you have a right. Yes. I've mentioned 3, and I did say there are how many? 14 in number. So the child has so many rights. The child has rights that the law provides to protect that child. Ultimately, the child has right to protection. So every child you see, it is the duty of a parent, the duty of parents, the duty of the local government, the duty of the state government, the duty of the federal government, the duty of the community to protect the child. So the child is a special breed, don't you think so?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, Barrister, what are the fundamental rights of children?
Children, just as I've stated, every child or all children have rights. And that right is provided for in the Constitution. Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution, the extant Constitution of Nigeria, provides for right for all.
Yes.
that includes the adults and the child, or the adults and the children. So, just as that law, the Constitution provides for those rights, as we have earlier stated, the Child Rights Act 2003 and the Child Right Protection Act 2015 provides for all these rights. So you can see that the child, indeed, children have been given special recognition, special provision for their rights. So you cannot just trample on the right of a child, or you cannot force a child to be dogmatic. What do I mean? To follow whatever the parents say. If the parent, for instance, say, oh, I have an 11th commandment and my child must obey the 11th commandment, good. But if that commandment, so to speak, contravenes, go contrary to the right of the child can say, no, daddy, mommy, I don't think this is right. That's why you see elsewhere, not in Nigeria, the child can pick the phone and call the police against his or her father. But in this our climate, in this our environment, atmosphere, our culture romances with the law. So there's an extent the child of the rights can be exercised. So that is why, but where a parent or parents try to trample on the right of the child can cry out. So the children have so many rights. I said 14. Then when you begin to marry them with other laws, it's even more than 14. So the child has so many rights. Right to religion, right to association, right to development, right to survival. You cannot torture the child and the government will fold its hands. No, like in Edo State just now, the first lady has a pet project wherein she goes to any length to protect the rights of the child. Like what is prevalent now, what is the trend? You see, you hear rape here and there. If you defy a child, if you rape a child, the government comes after you. So the child has right to protection. So as we are seated here, each one of you has a right, and that right must be observed and obeyed by all and sundry. Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister.
Some persons are of the opinion that the Nigerian situation does not support children's rights. How true is this, sir?
That is an assertion that cannot be proved. Because already I have told us the Child Rights Act of 2003,
Yes.
the Child Right Protection Act of 2015, then you have the extant constitution. You discover that the right of a child, whether or not we find ourselves in an environment, in an atmosphere that does not give credence to the child of the right of a child, just as the question goes, or just as the question entails, that assertion is not correct. The child has a right, no matter the atmosphere. Yes, it is true that to an extent, our culture seems to water down the right of that child. But where that is tested in the courts, and the court finds out that culture is repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience, that culture becomes null and void. By implication, it simply means that the law frowns at any culture that seems to bring down the right of a child. You cannot sweep the right of a child under the carpet. You cannot prevent a child or children from exercising their rights. whatever the atmosphere is. Do you get that?
Yes.
So culturally, politically, religiously, and otherwise, the right of a child is a vested right. It's a right that the child can exercise anytime, any day, anywhere.
Thank you, sir. Again, our parents sometimes forget about our rights, citing upbringing. What is your view about this, sir?
Yes, I think that's also, I think part of the question, that question has been answered. At times, parents try to hide under the guise of culture and religion. You know, we are religious people. In this part of the world, we so esteem religion and our culture. So some parents pretentiously try to hide under the guise of religion and culture, just as I said, to begin to contradict the right of a child. And they cite upbringing as an excuse. But then, where a parent, particularly foster parents, when I say foster parents now, that parent or parents are not biological parents to that child. They hide under such pretense and begin to torture, abuse the child. On that stead, when the child cries out, or the government has so created a platform, just like I cited the first lady of the state, that child can report any parents of such magnitude or character. And once that parent is reported, an investigation has it that that parent has violated the right of that child, the government has some punishment for that parent. 5 years imprisonment, or option of 500,000 naira, or both. So, a parent or parents cannot hide under the guise of religion, under the guise of culture, under the guise of, quotes now, upbringing, and begin to torture a child. More so, if you look at it vividly, you discover that our culture and the religion that we hold so tenaciously also help in the development of a child. So you cannot rule out culture, you cannot rule out religion. Are you getting me?
Yes.
So, upbringing, you need to embrace culture, religion, then the rights of that child. And once a parent or parents do that, that child becomes a superstar. So, and I hope you want to be a superstar.
Yes, sir.
The sky is your starting point.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
In Nigeria today, are these rights given to children?
Yes, but unfortunately, the Child Rights Act has been domesticated by only 24 states of the Federation. In Nigeria today, we have how many states?
36.
36 states. And 24 have domesticated that law. So when you subtract 24 from 36, arithmetically, what is your answer?
12.
12. You are intelligent students.
Thank you, sir.
So you discover that child, that right, the right of a child is sacrosanct. It's a must. So, and in Edo State and other 23 states of the Federation, the child can exercise his or her rights in this environment. And I want to tell you that the right of a child is universal. Anywhere you go in the world, the child or children can exercise their rights. So, don't be afraid. Anywhere you go, you have right to exercise that right that is vested on you by the law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Again, poverty have been blamed for the abuse of children's rights. Can you please expatiate on this, sir?
Poverty is a weapon that today, in our time, unfortunately, we've come to see that poverty can be defined. You can see, you can touch, and you can feel poverty. But it is not an excuse for any parent to say, I am poor, and as such, I will not allow my children to exercise their right. So, the excuse of poverty is not a stand, it's not genuine. However, we have come to see that poverty contributes immensely for some children to exercise their right, particularly right to education. Because if a parent cannot afford to send his or her child to school, the child will not go to school. But the law does provide that compulsory primary education. And that is where some of us ask the question, why only primary school? Some states that have domesticated this law say up to JSS 3. Yes. Why not make it to tertiary institution? And the Constitution in chapter 2 of the Constitution provides for education. But there are legal issues with respect to that, whether or not government can be sued in respect of where the government does not provide education for all. But then we have seen that certain legal issues that even if I say it now, you may not understand. But however, poverty shouldn't be an excuse for a child to exercise his or her rights. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo, for your analysis. I remain Honorable Samiraku from Higher Wisdom Academy. Happy Children's Day.